Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eroll. Forget the rest, it's too difficult. Eroll is good enough. Storage. There's a lot to talk about storage, but I want to start at the beginning, and that's in 2008, when we actually started in India. We are Dutch. We have different kind of food. We have a different time zone. We have different weather. And weather is one of the keys which has actually brought us to India, because there are lots of challenges, and the challenges we actually see today in results. 2008 I started, not for Omnivent, but in India, and actually we did a lot of traveling and survey on storage-related issues. So we first wanted to understand what kind of issues there were, and if our systems were even adaptable to the local situation, and eventually we concluded we had to adapt our systems to be able to be successful. And as of today, we have about 400,000 tons of storage facilities in India, and we store until the end of December, and that's quite long. Let's talk about ROS. I'm not getting younger, I'm getting a bit older, so traveling around the world, doing 70, 80 countries, it makes quite difficult to do India 6, 7, 10 times a year. So we needed a partner to be, first of all, closer to the client, and secondly, to understand, because we speak Dutch, you speak Hindi or Gujarati or Punjabi or any other, let's say, dialect or language that you speak, and we have to understand that. And we understood already quite quickly that we need a connection towards the clients. The only problem you have, you decide very late. That makes it a little bit different to get the equipment here on time. So there is an advice for us to the agricultural sector. Start early with planning so that at least the equipment is on time for this season and not in 2 years. We don't make everything here. We try to do that, but I come back to you later. So we talked about ROS. We talked to them, we connected to them. They were the first who were actually in the contract with PepsiCo, designing the store, building the store, constructing the store, and also operating the store, and only providing the supply chain for processing. Based on that, we actually had a wish, and that was to have a partner who understood international business, and they wanted a partner like us. So that made marriage quite easy, and that is what we have today. And we are actually here with them, and we are very blessed with a dealer which is actually operating the way they do at this moment. What do they do? If we look to storage from deep freeze to agricultural crops, building boxes, as of now, we will build about 40,000 boxes this year, and the aim is to build about 70 or 80,000 boxes in the coming year. And beside that, we also will do the assembly of intake lines from Bijlsma. I don't have to say anything about this. These are our clients. It will grow over the years to come, but big partners already tied up with us because of the total supply that we do and the service that we provide for them. What do we do? These products, that's what we can do. That's our specialty. We can add ginger, and we can add a number of other products, but these are the main crops that we do today. Looking at the cooperation, actually the cooperation started 1.5 years ago. We signed the contract in the Netherlands, not only at Omnivent, but also at Bijlsma Hercules. So tying the knots gives us, let's say, more leverage and closer to the client. That's most important. And we have a partner who can translate what we don't understand. And that makes life a lot easier. Globally, this is where we are. This is Omnivent. This is not the most important part, that's this part. This part is where ROS is operating for Omnivent. And then focusing on India is for us key number one, because we see a great potential in the coming years, and we see it already now, today. So this is not the end, it's just the beginning. I think going deep south into the Pacific, there is even an option, and maybe some other regions in Africa will be added in the coming years as well, because that's the aim. Now, designing the store, there is the trick, because for any of you who is in this, maybe not in the storage business, but is in the potato business, any hour of ventilation is dehydration. That's the only thing you have to remember. Anything you do inside the store is dehydrating your crop. Why do we store until the end of December? Because the systems only run for 4 or 5 hours per day. But for that we need data. So what we do, we collect data from the region where we build the stores. We get the supply chain challenges and we look at the buildings. It could be an existing building, it could be a new building, but we look at the installation value. Because also the radiation on the building, especially if you have 35, 40 degrees, will have an impact on the running hours of the system. And I told you, running hour is dehydration. And we want to reduce that to the maximum. And for that, we actually designed a heat load calculation. So we know exactly what is the cooling power that we need to establish minimum running hours. That maybe increases your investment, but this system you're going to buy for 25, 30 years. So if you look to your capex investment, it's over 30 years, maybe not that big. Food waste, because we all know the food waste is what we do. It's in the handling and storage. And if you look to the percentage, where we can save what we throw away or what we don't eat. And I had an interesting discussion with one of the ministers some years ago in India, and we had a breakfast and we were talking about losses. And I told him about the losses percentages that we experienced in the sector. And then he said, no, Eroll, no, we have only 2%. We have only 2%. I said, but how do you rate the 2%? He says, well, if we don't use the potato for processing, we use it for the cows. I said, but you don't grow the potato for the cow. It eats grass, not a potato. You know, it's in the mindset how we think about losses. So looking at that, there is a big challenge for all of us to improve quality. And don't forget, storage is not a hospital. We cannot cure what is bad. We can only prevent it from getting it worse. So imagine that you can store until the end of December. Would it be useful? It may be asked an investment, which is larger than an investment you maybe would do locally. But if it will bring you to the end of the year, beyond all the problems that you face with monsoon or any other, let's say, market-related issues, that could be the key for you. And we say, don't build big if you don't have the financials. Start small, start getting the money, earn the money, and then improve and increase. The goals: storage losses, product quality, energy efficiency. Those three factors are key in design. That is where we focus. And it could be that we will not sell it for you because it will not add to the task you have. Solutions, there are a number of solutions. I want to skip this part because we are downstairs. We can show you, we have a maquette there, so we can showcase what the system does. But there are a number of systems that we can implement and which we have implemented already in India for the processing sector. These are bulk stores, room ventilation systems, even the racks. Interesting product. It can be locally made. You don't need a box, but even that. So what we do is actually we not only doing new facilities, we also do renovations. Renovations could be interesting because eventually you have already the building, and then implementing the system could be more financially interesting than building a new store. And then we go, let's say, into the store, and that has to do, let's say, with the new developments in the near future. Because what we want to prevent, and we started actually with a kind of a simple computer, let's say 25, 30 years ago, and actually developed it to a tool that gives you information. It will bring you information about the performance of the store. Instead of that, you have to analyze what the store will do for you. And then I want to have 2 minutes.
Wind, rain, sun, the elements which make us humble. In our quest to produce food, we stand side by side and work with the elements. To produce crops, we've learned from our ancestors and inherited their intuition. Nowadays, technique helps us further. The beautiful skies tell us so much. The wind keeps us awake. The earth warns us. We have to listen. Sowing, growing, protecting, harvesting, and storing food. While outside the elements of nature are in control, inside our storage system is in control. No need to know the technical details. Our system is designed to be intuitive, so you can concentrate on the job outside. In your battle to work with the elements, we support you with technique and help you keep your harvest in supreme condition, so you have one less thing to worry about. Omnicuro next. Simplicity by intuition.
That's what we do. From field to fork, only providing you the necessary information that you need as a store owner or a store manager. Not to provide you with any details which are not important. That will be the next step in storage. From field to fork, quality-wise. In the Netherlands, maybe that's easy because we have a very small country. You fly with a fighter jet from the German border all the way to the ocean in 1 minute and 10 seconds. It's very easy. We are very small. We are the supply chain. In India, you go from Nasik to West Bengal. It takes you 4 days by car. So looking at supply chain challenges, there are the challenges. Looking at the equipment, because now we're coming out of the field and we have to go into the store. But into the store, you need equipment. For that, we use Bielsma Hercules. They have, let's say, the tools and the capability to adjust to the local situation and to the local challenges. And that's what we actually do. So what we have done is we have built a system in which we can unload quickly multiple tractors so that we can empty the bags with, let's say, a supply of 20 tons per hour to do the grading to make sure that we can load the cell in 3 to 5 days. Multiple options, bulk stores, box stores, loading quickly, preserving product quality to be able to store for 10, 11 months. As a starting point. And then we go to the 4 Ps if we look at ROS. And there I really have to emphasize this is something that not only here, but in India definitely, but also in other regions of the world, we think about designing a store, then we start working on it, and by the time we have to take the decision, it is 4 or 5 months in front of commissioning. And that's way too short. For that, you need more time. Don't forget, if we have to get parts here, we don't have all the parts here yet. It means that we have to ship them. So not only the production time, but also shipment is a part which is crucial. This is 1 minute, so we can do 1 minute, yeah? Can we have sound? Yeah, okay. It's an element which comes back often because it's one of the most expensive parts. and you can buy a cheaper box, and we have seen many stores collapsed in the season due to the fact of the weakness of the box. We tested the boxes and it can last 20 tons on weight, vertical weight. So that's not a problem. It's usually to do with the handling, how the box is constructed, and eventually the wrong wood. Quality standards, I think we do well on the quality standards, especially because of food address. We are in India. We are close by, even though we are in Delhi, but we have sales managers running all over the place in India. And that's what we do. Namaste.